Another straight dope response video on the stupid DMCA crap, I assume. So he's got some Inmendum fails. What an original title. Number one hypocrite is the icon. So let's lay the videotape.
Hi YouTube. Since my last video about Gary's justification of his abuse of the DMCA, he's released 2 videos attempting to debunk me, totaling in about an hour of rabid ranting.
Right, really irrelevant. So all the what again? So you're just going to keep turning this into a personal argument, and you don't even have the balls to put your personality in the video. It's such a weasel move.
Of course, he's only shown himself to be illogical, hypocritical, and generally confused about the law and his own position. So I'm going to do my reporting duty and show you all just how full of shit Gary really is.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
One of the very first things he says is that he's going to file a DMCA claim against my video.
Play this asshole's video.
I filed the DMCA, okay? It takes YouTube 24 hours. Well, whatever.
And then I'm going to DMCA his video.
I don't know if he's actually done this yet,
Yes.
but we'll know soon enough.
Yes.
He tries to argue that my featuring of his content doesn't qualify as fair use, and he fails completely. Firstly, he contradicts himself when trying to categorize my video style.
Your news report is shit. If you're doing your reporting duties, and that's what this is, it's not satire or parody, you're doing some sort of news reporting. You're not reporting or teaching. You're not news criticism.
He must have decided that he didn't want to concede that my video qualifies as a work that fair use is specifically intended to protect.
Okay. Yeah, no, I did concede that, asshole. And my point is now you can't use the lame satire parody argument. Alright, you can't mix satire and parody with news reporting. And I pointed out that your news reporting was incredibly unreliable. So you've already got a recklessness charge against you, okay? Fair use is about motive. In court, it's going to be about motive, asshole. What was your motive? And all I have to do is demonstrate that you had a little bit too much fucking malice in your fucking heart, you asshole. And it's going to be really easy to do because first, your news reporting was wrong. And second, that first clip, you had no excuse for that use. No excuse. It was not necessary to the news reporting. It was not necessary to the commentary. And it was extremely prejudicial to me. Alright? So it's going to look like maliciousness. Alright, there's nothing honest about what you're fucking doing. You're a dishonest, lousy, stinking, cruddy little weasel who's trying to manipulate the law. You don't give a fuck about what the law intends to protect, which is freedom and copyright. You just give a fuck about your advantage. You stupid piece of shit.
However, he also misrepresents the purpose of my video in a futile attempt at claiming my reporting was faulty and therefore not protected by fair use.
I never said it wasn't protected by fair use. I just stated the fact that it was inaccurate and wrong, and therefore you have a credibility issue, fucker. Your motives can now be examined, asshole.
Seems that this is a piece of evidence he can use against me.
You know what? Rosebush is a cunt, and I resolved the matter with 7th Cycle, okay? So now even your news report is shit. If he's saying he's being a news commentator, and his news was old news, by the way, his news was basically reckless and foolish, because the matter he spoke of was resolved, but it doesn't matter to him. He doesn't care about being accurate or responsible, and that right there is proof of it. So here I got two pieces of evidence against this asshole. You know, first I got the recklessness that his news story was inaccurate. Second, I got the evidence that this image serves no purpose.
Obviously, this is a complete mischaracterization.
Let's hear it.
He's doing something he accuses me of.
Let's hear it, fucker.
You described the truth.
My video was about Gary's misuse of the DMCA. The 7th Cycle...
Again, misuse is your accusation. An accusation you don't back up with any proof of any kind. You just have your fucking opinion against my fucking opinion. Alright? And then you're doing that in the context where you're reporting on what the facts are in some other circumstance which are inaccurate. And again, it's about the fucking initial image of your video. It serves no fucking informative or educational purpose. It's merely exists as a maligning piece of aggressive spear chucking. And that's not your fucking right. It's my copyrighted material. It's not yours, asshole. And that's the fucking issue.
Situation was just the catalyst, and I presented it as background. Regardless of the outcome of that situation, everything I reported about it was true. So Gary states that he has no problem with the way
everything you reported about is true, except the conclusion, except the ultimate end of the story. So you got, what's the point of reporting old news? As I stated, it's old news. It's no good because it doesn't have the revealing truth, okay, of the ending, which is the most important part that you couldn't care to know.
I played his clips in order to argue against them, but his real beef is with an image of him that I used in the beginning of my video.
Yeah, that's right.
This straight dope asshole. It was fine. Him using my clips where I'm talking and I'm just saying my shit and then he says his shit. I got no problem with that whatsoever. My problem with his video was this petty beginning. Because there was no, part of the law is you're only really supposed to use what you need to use. You're not supposed to use anything you don't need to use to do what you need to do. Now he started his video with this rather unflattering image of me. Alright, and he zoomed in on it, right? Now, that was his fucking right? No, it wasn't his fucking right.
He says that he owns his face, he owns his image, and nobody has the right to use it.
That's not what I said. Again, of course I didn't say that. Alright? Not in spirit, not in intent, not in meaning, not in substance, not in any way whatsoever. So again, you have perverted the truth to your advantage because you are a dishonest asshole. What I said is you cannot use it to your manipulative, malicious purposes. Alright? Again, all I have to do is demonstrate your recklessness, because I'm not a public figure by definition of the law, okay? And even if I am a public figure, then all I have to do is demonstrate your maliciousness. And I think I can do that, asshole.
Also claims that he can argue that my featuring of the image wasn't necessary for my purposes, so it wasn't fair use.
Yeah, that's right. You weren't defending your free speech right. You weren't doing some social public good. You know, the Supreme Court decisions on this stuff, they do write elegant paragraphs here and there, all right? And it has in there what the interests are, what the overall goal is of legislation. All right, and that's what a judge is going to go to. That's what he's going to look for, is what is the overall goal here. I'm not a corporation suppressing your speech. I'm not a government suppressing your speech. I'm a fucking individual. All right, and you have no necessity to break or shatter or do what you're doing. And I can make a really good argument to a judge that what you do with your malicious behavior is actually suppress speech. Because now people can't be trusted that their material is going to be used fairly and honorably and decently. They have every expectation that their material is going to be manipulated and tortured by assholes like you. And so I can make a damn good argument that you're the one suppressing free fucking speech, asshole. See you in fucking court.
That wasn't fair. That wasn't necessary to his purpose.
But I'm of course using an audio-visual medium, so despite Gary's opinion, when I'm commenting on a particular YouTube user, I find it necessary and helpful to...
Necessary is going to be your key fucking word, and helpful is going to be your key fucking word. There's going to be nothing necessary and nothing helpful about that initial fucking image, asshole, and that's what this is about. Don't talk about the other clips. Don't talk about anything else. Talk about that initial use of that initial image. That was a malicious piece of shit, and you goddamn fucking know it.
Display an image of him. Just because it's an image he doesn't happen to like doesn't mean it's...
No, it's an image any person, any rational person on the earth will say was deliberately chosen because it made me look foolish. That was your malicious behavior. It has nothing to do with the truth. Has nothing to do with revealing I'm a hypocrite. Has nothing to do with revealing I'm an idiot on this subject. It has nothing to do with any of that crap. It just has to do with your malicious fucking intent.
It's all of a sudden a copyright violation. As Gary goes on...
I own the copyright, fucker. I own the derivative works. That's a derivative work. If I feel like making a funny face, I have the right to do it first, fucker. Okay, unless you have some social interest in doing it first. Unless you have a protected social interest in doing it first. And you have no such fucking right.
He unwittingly helps to prove that the use of the image was legal. A key criterion of fair use is the amount of material featured in relation to the body of the original work.
No, that's has completely to do with goddamn whether or not it has material value and all these other issues. It has nothing to do with your fair use right to use it maliciously. Maliciousness will not be justified by the law. All you did was attempt to buffoon me. You did nothing else. And I will say to the judge, buffoon. Do you see the word buffoon anywhere in there? Is there any implication that the law says you have a right to buffoon somebody with their own material? No such fucking right exists, asshole, and I intend to demonstrate it with your ass.
And Gary shows that he recognizes this fact.
And there are all kinds of lines here. Like even in that example. Okay, you used a little 5-second clip. Well, that's pretty safe. But then 10 seconds, 15. How long a clip are you allowed to use? Before all of a sudden you...
Yeah, so now you're going to talk about a completely different subject. I'm talking about the general subject of fair use.